I just started this video and I'm restarting because the fire alarm went off and it was like a fire alarm test, which is great. Want to know that everything's working well, but now we're back for real this time. And I have a whole bunch of NYX makeup in front of me. We're doing a full face. Listen, I'd mentioned recently, I feel like I had been estranged from NYX Cosmetics. I've always called it NYX Cosmetics, but this is NYX Professional Makeup. Is it not actually called NYX Cosmetics? I feel like it still is. Anyway, so I just bought a whole bunch of stuff that I had heard about, some stuff that was brand new, some stuff that I used to own years ago that I remembered loving that I hadn't tried in a couple years. So we're gonna see if anything's changed with those. And I honestly only had a handful of products that I currently own from the brand, which is just crazy. So we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly and put it all on today. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I need something moisturizing on my face. So let's start with primer. I have two here. One that I already own, which is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. This one's pretty popular right now. I feel like it's made the rounds on TikTok, etc. And also I saw a meme or GIF or whatever the other day that said something like, when I say I saw it on TikTok, what I really mean is I watched a TikTok that was uploaded to Instagram Reels like an adult. It just made me laugh. I watch TikToks on TikTok, but think about it. Like, I feel like most of the Instagram Reels that I've seen are also on TikTok, and so it has the floating TikTok thing. Same with like on Facebook, like Facebook Shorts or whatever they call it. Anyway, it's all the same, and it's all on all the social media. That's what kills me. And so when I say TikTok, I mean, you know, I saw it on all the social media. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Have I lost you? I can't believe you're still here. Anyway, so this one has made the rounds, and I feel like it went pretty viral on TikTok. And so I bought it, and I love that NYX has these minis of their primers because their primers full size are like freaking 20 bucks. Like, I feel like that's pretty high for drugstore brand, you know? I don't know why it was in quotes, but I feel like I should put it in quotes when they're charging like $20 for a primer. Anyway, this one I have been enjoying more recently. It has this really nice, lightly sweet smell, and I honestly think that's the only reason I like it. I don't know that I'm noticing a huge difference in like my skin when I use it. It feels a little bit softer maybe and smoother, but it's not like revolutionary, but I do like it. So the other one I bought that I think I'm gonna try today because it's new to me is the Bare With Me Hydrating Jelly Primer. So I'd swatched it, and it's a clear primer, and it kind of makes your skin just feel a little bit hydrated, I guess. So we're gonna put that on. I don't really know how much, but I feel like my skin's a little bit dry, so I could definitely use a little bit of hydration, you know? It doesn't have a noticeable smell or anything. Okay. Feels a little bit more hydrating. My thing about hydrating primers lately has been, why not just use a moisturizer? You know what I mean? I feel like it basically is, that's what a hydrating primer in theory is. This one is more gel-like, and I don't typically like gel type moisturizers. I'd prefer more of like a thicker one, even underneath makeup. But this does feel a little bit sticky. So in that case, it might be great because if it's hydrating and gripping, that's kind of nice. So doesn't feel bad. I feel like I need to give it a minute to kind of sink in, but it does feel a little bit sticky. So if you don't like that, I don't think you'd like it. Like I said, I really do like the Marshmallow Primer, but I feel like if you were gonna go and buy it, buy the mini, see if you use it enough, see if you like it. Because again, I feel like the price tag for the full size is kind of high for what it is, but it smells nice. And the name of it's cute. We are gonna use this foundation from NYX. So I've tried their like HD foundation and concealer years ago, and I never really like felt strong about them in like a good way. I just kind of felt like they were a mess, so I have not tried those in years. I wanted to try something different. This is their Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation. That, if you know me, sounds right up my alley, and so I got the shade Porcelain. I have a feeling this is like a medium coverage foundation, and I feel like shade match wise, this is not bad. So we're just gonna give her a whirl, baby. Freshly cleaned sponge. Is there anything better? Okay, so it definitely like gives some coverage, and it's blending in very, very fast. So showing it with and without. I mean, that looks pretty nice, right? I don't feel like it, I notice it like super radiant, so that the phrase they use, naturally radiant, maybe is more appropriate, but I almost feel like it's more of a satin. You know what I mean? Because even with the hydrating primer underneath, it looks nice. I feel like it looks nice, but I would not call this radiant, you know? But it is, I mean, you can really tell the difference. that it's making. Do you go over your eye area with your foundation or no? I guess it would depend on the order you do your makeup, because obviously if you do your eye makeup first, then you wouldn't. But I'm curious, how many of you guys do and how many of you guys don't? Let me know below. I feel like I have to, just to kind of even things out. And then I always put concealer, so I guess that would serve the purpose, but I've been in the habit of putting foundation just everywhere since as far back as I can remember, you know? I'm waiting on the postpartum hair loss to start, because we're at the time I'm filming this 5 weeks. I'm 5 weeks postpartum, and I remember so well losing so much hair here. I feel like that's the common place that you kind of lose hair and then it grows back. I don't know. I want to look up, like, what is it? Why is postpartum hair loss a thing? But the worst part about it is not necessarily the hair loss. Like, it's, you know, it just is what it is. You know, it grows back. I think the worst part about that particular thing is that as it grows back, you've got like worse than I usually have. You end up with the little baby hairs that take a while to like grow out long enough to not just stick up. That would be the worst part. It's a small fry, but just mentioning it because I know it's to come. So I feel like that looks really, really nice. I really do. I might do, I don't know, what do we think? A second layer? I usually do, almost with anything, a second layer on my cheeks. But you know what? That's a pretty decent shade match. It might be a little light for me, but as I always say, like, I tend to have just like a red chest that's never all one color, and it shifts depending on how hot I am. I'm like currently hot in this room. Speaking of, I'm gonna see if I need to make sure the air is on. Y'all, it is 77 in here. We still had our heat on. We didn't realize. The air is on now. No wonder I'm like, why am I, like, I'm redder than normal. I'm feeling hot. That would be why. This is gonna be a long video. I think you already knew that. Okay, so the concealer we're gonna use is a newer product to me, but I've been loving for the past month or two. It's the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. This is another one that kind of went viral, and I really like it. People will use it all over as kind of a foundation because the texture of this, I love that it's like a little tiny pump, but the texture of this is almost foundation-y. I can't explain it other than that. Like I really like this formula. I tend to just get, well, like a squirt and a half. I don't know. You really don't need a lot. It spreads really easily. Again, because it does have almost a foundation-like formula. Hear the baby noises. We got this like portable bassinet to be able to bring her here to the workspace and have her like have a place to nap beyond on us. Cause we have our carrier and she'll nap like that. She's just still so little, you guys. But I was like, this is kind of nice. And then if and when we travel with her soon, she's kind of at least used to sleeping in there sometimes, and she is doing a great job. I can link the one we got. There are some expensive ones. This one was not nearly as pricey as some I'd seen. And the reality is you can use like a pack and play too, but this is nice because it's even smaller. It folds up really small. And while she is really little, it's perfect and it's safe. And anyway, but yeah, she's sleeping in that next to me. So do you see how quick that blended in so freaking fast? I like it with the brush. I like it with the sponge. It's pretty darn good coverage. I feel like it stays in place all day. It still looks nice throughout. Like if you want to put it on your face in other spots, it still looks really nice. It's not super glowy. Again, it's kind of like a satin finish. I really enjoy it. I do think if you've got any version of fine lines like me or worse, you want to set it. I set every concealer, honestly, you guys. At this point in my life, I just always use a setting powder, but I usually wait till towards the end of the makeup. That way I can kind of get everything else done around it. So, big fan. I'll, at the end of this video, kind of lay out loosely what my top maybe 3 to 5 products are from the brand. So if that's helpful, and maybe my least favorites too. So, brow wise, I want to use this. This is, again, really popular right now, the Thick It, Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. I got the shade, and I know this is not my shade, but it was the one they had in stock. I got this in person. I got everything from so many different, got a lot from the NYX Cosmetics site, some from Ulta, some from Target, but I got the shade Cool Ash Brown, which is more of like a taupe. It's not really the shade I need. I think the shade I need is brunette, but it was sold out. So I need to actually order that online. To be honest, I thought I ordered it from the NYX site when a lot of this came in, but it wasn't in the box, so I need to check back. I guess maybe I didn't actually order it. But we are gonna give this a whirl. So it's a bigger wand than I typically use. I really like the e.l.f. Wow Brow, and that's $4. But we're gonna give this a try. This is a little bit, maybe the tone will work. It's obviously a cooler tone. They have a good amount of options of shades. It definitely feels like it's thickening is like the word they're using. It does feel like it's adding a little bit of like grit to the brows in a good way. So then the color actually like stays in place. So if you had sparse areas that you genuinely want the color to stay, this might actually work for you. For me, until my brows, like I used a brow serum to get them to grow in, until I did that when my brows were really, really light compared to my natural hair color, I couldn't use products like this because I felt like, well, I've got to also go in with other stuff to fill them in and darken them. I feel like this could have worked for me back then because it feels like it kind of just actually stays where you put it. You know what I mean? And you know what? This tone, what do we think? I don't think it's perfect, but it is not bad. Maybe I won't even bother getting the brunette. Sometimes brunette shades I feel like can pull a little too warm. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna keep messing with it. Formula-wise, I really enjoyed that. Like it stayed in place. I didn't feel like it was so wet that you're like constantly cleaning up. Like it felt like a good thickness, and yeah. Okay, and I like too, it feels like it's really keeping my brows in place. I love the e.l.f. Wow Brow, but that does not have that quality. So I typically pair that with, I'll show you, a clear brow gel. This one is one I used to love. It was the NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel. It's just clear, and I was excited to buy this again because I remembered loving it. I'm gonna put it on anyway just because. But yeah, I can already tell you, this is like actually staying in place. It feels kind of waxy. Wow, okay, this Thick It Stick It. Combining all the things I would need into one step, that's awesome. But I'll just throw this on just because. I liked this because it would hold them in place really well, but it wasn't super, super hardening. And of course it was inexpensive. So it was, and I felt like too, it didn't look wet on the brows. There's some clear brow gels that just kind of look wet and like shiny. And I'm like, that's not what I want. So this is a really good one if you're in need of a clear brow gel. So for eyes, I bought this NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette. I think they had a few different shade ranges. This is the one that was kind of the most neutral, basic, which is absolutely what I prefer, but it definitely leans very warm. But it had enough like lighter and medium and some deeper shades, some shimmers, some mattes. I like the size of this. It's not humongous, but you get a ton of different shade options. I have a feeling, however, these shimmers are not the kind of shimmer I tend to like. I like a, well, maybe I shouldn't speak too soon. Yeah, they're pretty, but I like a little bit more glimmer to my shimmer. And these are not quite it. These are more of like a satin shimmer. Maybe don't speak too soon, Jess, because look how pretty that one is. We'll see. I'm gonna mess with them, but let's swatch some of the mattes too. They feel pretty nice. We'll see kind of how they blend. I feel like nowadays it's pretty rare, and I wonder if you agree, it's pretty rare to swatch an eyeshadow palette and be like super disappointed. Like the days of chalky eyeshadows, I feel like are gone because even the cheapest makeup you can find typically has pretty good eyeshadows, you know? So just one of those things I feel like formula-wise that brands have nailed, and they all just kind of do the same thing. So let's put on, maybe I will go this bronzy route because I really liked the way it swatched. Very thin formula. So it's still holding a lot of its color, but it's just really thin, which means I feel like there's not gonna be a ton of fallout either. Sometimes if it's like really thick and kicks up a lot of powder, but this one really doesn't kick up like not much powder at all. So this is one of those shades that absolutely can be a one shadow look, as you are seeing here. I mean, that's like, it's blending pretty well too. Here's another fun question for you. Do you typically do one eye completely and then do the other? Like, especially when it comes to like your eyeshadow? Or do you do like step one, and kind of go back and forth with your eyeshadow? I definitely go back and forth and like keep it even as I go, because I'll forget what I did. Not that it's usually very complicated, it's not. It's kind of like socks and shoes. Do you put on both socks, then both shoes, or do you put on a sock and shoe, then a sock and shoe? I put on both socks, then both shoes. I feel like that's what most people do. Maybe I'm wrong though. So that was really easy to use, but again, this is one of the shimmers and it's not super shimmery. So if you don't like a lot of shimmers, you like more of like a satiny shimmer, like I said, you might really like this formula. So I'm gonna go into maybe this brown here, just out there to kind of darken it a bit. I feel like this is all really easy to use. I'm gonna grab this shade here, just kind of a matte lighter color, and put it just on the brow bone just to kind of, I like to use that to kind of blend into that, make it a little more seamless than it was. So I'm gonna grab this lighter shimmer here and just kind of tap it on the center. I don't think this is gonna be like a palette of mine that I need to buy more of or like reach for all the time, but it still is a really nice look and it was really easy to use. But like I said, I just like more of a shimmer, that is all. But it's still really nice. Again though, I feel like this was around 20 bucks, so it's not super cheap. And honestly, if you're gonna spend around $20, I would recommend the Ulta Everyday Faves. It's similar vibes, but these are the kind of shimmers I like, where it's like, whoa. Like, are you kidding me? That is the prettiest. It's so pretty. So they have, maybe it's more like blush tone one of this too, but this is such a great palette and it's right around the same price point. I would recommend the Ulta one, formula wise and just like shimmer wise. Okie dokie. So eyeliner wise, I have two different ones. One of them is one of their popular, oh, no, it's not from that line. I thought I bought an eyeliner from their Slide On, Glide On line. This is actually from their Epic Wear line, and it's called the Deepest Brown, and it's kind of more of a cool tone brown. It's definitely deep, and that is super creamy. It's the kind you do have to sharpen. It's not retractable. But we're gonna give her a whirl. I'm gonna kind of tight line with it, and then we're gonna go in with one of my favorite liquid liners of all time. I wanna see if the formula has changed. We're gonna see, because it's been a while since I've tried it. So super creamy, super easy to glide on. Like if you're someone that just does a quick little line, so easy. I'm putting it in the waterline though. I wanna see if it transfers down. I'm hoping it does. Well, obviously I'm hoping it doesn't, because I've been looking for a dark brown dupe for the Makeup by Mario one I love. So this is one that's in the running, we're gonna see, but super easy to use, super creamy. So the liquid liner is the Epic Ink liner. This is one I've loved for so long. It says it's waterproof. This one is a brush tip. It's super, super, super black. And yeah, I've just been a fan. Just as awesome as I remembered. Super black, spreads on easily, doesn't do that thing where it like feathers out. I love it. I love it so much. So I'm really glad it doesn't feel like it's changed. So this is a great addition. I need to go through all of my liquid liners. Half of them are dried out. Half of them are so old, and like really weed through, because I only need like 2 at a time open, I feel like, you know what I mean? Maybe a couple more because of what I do, but you know what I mean. All right, so mascara. I want to try this. So I pretty rarely buy mascara primers, but I wanted to try this little duo. You do have to buy them separate. So this is the On the Rise Lash Booster and the On the Rise Volume Lift Mascara. We're gonna give these bad boys a whirl and see. I think it's a primer. It's totally black, so I'm like, I can't tell if it's like working as a mascara or a primer, you know? Let me see. Yeah, kinda, I don't know. I'm kind of glad though that it's not white, because anytime I've used like a white primer, I just feel like you can like see it through the mascara, like it'll catch sunlight weird and look like navy blue. I don't know. So there's the primer. I don't want to wait too long, so we're gonna put this one on now, the mascara. Different wand. Let me show you. The top one is the Lift Mascara. The bottom one is the Maybe Primer wand. So it is definitely different. And I'm definitely getting some serious volume. It's hard to tell if that's the primer plus this. I feel like if I were a good scientist, I would have done one without the primer, one with, but I'm not a good scientist. I'll have to update you guys. Maybe I can put some wear notes like I usually do down in the description box of how this all wore, especially like the complexion products, etc., down below. But I will also give you an update on the mascara alone without the primer, if it looks exactly the same. Like, do you really need both? I definitely like this mascara because it's really combing through the lashes. And so when it's called a lift mascara, I feel like I really can lift the product and like push my lashes up. I mean, this is looking nice. So like I said, I'll update you, but I'm digging the way this is making my lashes look. All right, we need some bronzer, etc. So first of all, I have this old powder foundation. I mean, this one's not super old. I saw this at Target. There are only like 4 shades. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So awful. And I don't know if the abysmal shade range, I don't know if it's always been that way. I don't know if it is, and this isn't even a good match for me, but I'm wondering if they're phasing this out too, because I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't jumped on the powder foundation game, because this powder foundation is actually really good. It's got like really good coverage. I've loved this one for years, but it just, the shade range, man. So I don't know what's going on, NYX. You need to hop on everyone's loving powder foundations right now. What are you doing? So I like it, but I don't know who can find a match. There's like 3 shades. Anyway. So for bronzer, we're gonna do the NYX matte bronzer. I was hoping to find more of like a cream or like liquid bronzer. I really didn't find much that struck my fancy, which again was kind of surprising. So we're gonna use this. This is kind of a reddish. I have the shade Light. Kind of has a reddish tint to it, almost like a peach blush. Doesn't that look like a straight up peach blush? We're gonna give it a try. Looks nice though. Like, I don't feel like that looks bad. And again, the sunburnt look is so in that I feel like this would be, if you're anywhere near my skin tone, a really good kind of color for that because it is leaning kind of reddish. Formula is pretty easy to work with too. Yeah, this literally looks like I'm putting blush on my face though, like this shade. I wish you guys could really see this in person because this literally looks like blush on my forehead. And it's just not coming across the right way on here. I think I could use a more, like a less dense brush with it for sure, but I don't really have one that's perfect for this here right now. I need to, honestly y'all, I need to, as always, I need to clean my brushes. I'm just really not vibing on that color. So it's, I like the formula though. So I don't know. So the blush I want to try is this NYX Bear With Me Luminous Cheek Serum. So I love liquid and cream blushes. We're gonna play with this. I got the shade Peach Bronze. This was a line, I think they had ones that could look like a bronzer, but this is definitely a more kind of sheer type liquid blush, which I like. I feel like they're easier to work with than one that has like crazy high pigment, you know? So I'm gonna try one with my finger. Very reminiscent of the Cosmetics one because that one shears out so wildly like this, which makes it easy to apply and really hard to screw up, which I love. And I feel like this is the kind of blush that looks so pretty in the summer when you're in the sun because it's liquid, so it's not got that powdery finish to it. It just, with no highlighter or anything else on, it just looks pretty. It makes your skin look really healthy, you know? So this, I feel like looks really, really nice. Like, oh man, I like that a lot. So the highlight I wanted to use is the Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator. This I thought would be like, it's definitely a squeezy tube, but I thought it would come to a point, and it actually is this kind of applicator. Like a short, chubby little, like almost lip gloss, you know? But holy moly, when I swatched this, I was like, whoa, whoa. So I feel like I need a lot less on my finger. I like to put this kind of product on the brow bone too. I'm not flipping you off, sorry. Looks like I am, but this is just the finger I'm using. So I feel like that looks really pretty. It blends in a lot better than I thought it would. So that's nice, like that's what I want. Because it can look a little intimidating right off the bat, but it just kind of blends in really nicely. You know, the one thing, every time I see like a cream or liquid highlight in my drawer, I'm like, do I have the energy? Because I do feel like it takes obviously more energy to do this kind of thing than it does to use a brush and just go whop with a powder highlighter, you know? However, I do think there is a certain payoff that a liquid or cream highlighter can give versus a powder one that just looks so much more natural. I mean, it's obvious that I'm wearing highlight, but it looks so much more natural and pretty, kind of like the cream blushes. Yes, they take more work, but I do think they really do make a difference in your skin. So anytime I have that extra bit of time, I would much prefer to opt for a liquid or cream one because it does give that pretty look. However, I do feel like as I put that on, it kind of blended away the blush. So I feel like I should tap a little bit more on because I really liked that peachy color, you know? Maybe that's the key. Put the highlighter on and then put this on top because then you can really still see that pinky color. This is just one of those formulas that I don't think is gonna be super long lasting on your skin, especially if you're tapping other stuff on top. But then the color can be there, but you can still see that glow shine through it, you know? So, lip-wise, we got a lot. So I'm gonna try them all on because I genuinely wanna see them on my lips. But we got a couple of lip liners, some glosses, and some lipsticks. So there was just a lot I wanted to try. First thing I wanna put on is the NYX Filler Instinct Plumping Lip Color in the shade Beach Casual. I think this packaging is so cute. It's just like a lip balm that's got a tint or a color to it, but it's supposed to be plumping. Wait, I just remembered I wanted to set my under eye. I don't have an under eye setting powder from NYX, and the powder foundation's too thick. I'm just gonna use the number 7 one that I love. You can get this at Target, and I just feel like it flattens the area so well. Wow, that looks a lot better, holy moly. It's like 12 bucks. So let's put this on. I feel like the shade is so easy to throw in your purse. It's very, very light. I don't have a lot of shades like this that kind of like really lighten my lips. I'm not always sure how I feel about it, but I think this kind of looks nice. I'm gonna give it a second to see if it like really does plump or not, you know? But they had a few different shades. Okay, I just licked my lips and now my tongue has that slight tingle. So there's definitely definitely something going on. Can't really tell if it's like actually plumping. It's been like another minute, but it looks nice. So this is something I probably will literally just put in my purse because I know I'll use it that way, and you don't really need a mirror. Like, it's simple, but it's cute, makes me look a lot more put together. So I want to throw this on top just to try. So this is the same line. It's the Filler Instinct, but this is their plumping lip polish. Seems awfully similar to the Buxom lip polishes where it's plumping. I have some that are super shimmery like this. This that I picked out is in the shade Sparkling Please. How, oh my gosh, so glittery and shiny. This doesn't have a smell or anything that I noticed. Like the Buxom ones have a really strong, like kind of coffee cake, vanilla type smell, which I like, but not, I know not everyone likes. Again, I feel like these two together look really nice, but this is gonna be one of those glosses that can look really pretty over another lipstick, just to kind of add a little life to it and a little bit of like shine. I feel like this is gonna look really pretty in the sun, you know? That one didn't give like a big tingle or anything that I noticed. It's slight, but nothing like the Buxom ones. All right, I wanna try this. This is the This Is Juice gloss. I got it in Pomegranate Clout. I've heard quite a few of my YouTube friends love this and talk about it. And they mentioned the smell. And you guys, I know what it smells like. I figured it out. It smells like something from childhood. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, but it's not quite like Bonnabelle Lip Smackers to me. Like, it's kind of like that, but not quite in the same way. Like this Milani Fruit Fetish truly smells like a Lip Smackers gloss I used to have. This smells like, and I'll put a picture, that like goo that you could get to eat, like it was like a candy. I remember my brother and I would always get it when we were really young. And that's what this smells like. I wish my brother lived in town so we could smell this, because he'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna like send this to him. But I want to see. Ooh, that's a pretty color. I mean, obviously it looks bright red here, but it's real sheer. But it definitely has some color. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. I love a color like this that just kind of looks like almost Kool-Aid-y. Does that, see, you gotta be able to smell it. Like, you put it all together and I'm like, I have made a lip balm out of like Kool-Aid and that candy, but it feels really good. Like, this is a thinner formula, but it's not sticky. It feels comfy like a balm. Also kind of smells like candy necklaces. Okay, this is really nice. This is really, really nice. I don't want to wipe it off, but I've got to try on this other, but this might be put back on because it feels so good. They gotta change the name because it's a dumb name. I heard, was it Kelly Gooch talking about that? And I'm like, yeah, girl, that is a really dumb name, isn't it? This is the NYX Lip Liner in Whipped Caviar. It's one of their wooden ones. And I think it was Kelly Gooch, actually, speaking of her, that I heard talk about it, but I'm starting to doubt myself. I'm like, was it her? I might be wrong, but regardless, really, really pretty color. And this is the kind of pencil that it's gonna stay in place really well. Like, a lot of times if it's been sitting a while, I'll resharpen a wooden pencil and you kind of gotta get it started again. But that just means that when you actually have it on your lips, it works really well and stays in place. Then I also got from their Slide On Glide On line 2 lip liners. I got the shade Bed Rose. Oh, you also sharpen these too? But these are way creamier. I'll be curious if they actually stay in place though, because sometimes creamy lip liners, you know. And then this one is in the shade Need Me, which is a lot more nude. And I swatched it earlier and I let it sit on my hands for like a minute or two. And when I went to go wipe it off, this Need Me color got even deeper. So it's a really nice, deep nude type color. Almost like a deep berry nude. Like it, anyway. So just interesting. I don't think I have anything quite that color in my collection. So I'm gonna use this lipstick with it, and I wanna swatch it next to these to see which one will go the best. This is the NYX Suede lipstick line. It's a matte lipstick, and I'm trying to remember if this existed way back when I was always talking about like the NYX round lipsticks, and they were like, I don't remember if this line existed or not, but I got the shade Brunch Me just because I loved the name, and I love this color. It's such a pretty, like, kind of tea rose color. Perfect name, perfect for brunch. Bed Rose looks like a dead on match, but there's a part of me that wants to use Whipped Caviar just to kind of outline that color a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use Whipped Caviar just to kind of vary it a little bit, because this is a little bit pinker than the actual lipstick. Realizing in this moment that for me, lip liner has become, if I'm gonna take the time to do it, I want it to do 2 things. I want it, well, I mean, I need it the same place. So I want it to hold my lipstick and make it look more like clearly defined and stay in place. But then I also want it to be slightly, usually slightly deeper than my lipstick, so that it gives that kind of dimension. And I mean, that's nothing revolutionary. That's what they do. and that's a very common thing, but I don't think I'd really realize I don't typically like the lip liner to match the lipstick perfectly. I like it to be a little deeper. That's all. Just having my own little realizations here. So it's such a creamy matte that just glided right on. Y'all, that's like so creamy. They had a lot of shades in this line, and I think the packaging is really cute too with the little heart. Isn't that cute? And it's like a thinner matte formula. It's not super, because it is so creamy, it doesn't feel super drying or anything. It feels really lightweight. Formula-wise, these are like the exact same. These are the Milani Color Fetish matte lipsticks. Very similar. So that is everything I wanted to try. What a roundup of products. So let me take a second and I want to share my favorites and least favorites. All right, let's start with my least favorites. The Stay Matte But Not Flat powder foundation I think is a good formula, but I do think there's better out there. I used to love this so much, but now that, I've tried so many powder foundations since I first discovered this, there's so many better out there. So this is one I do think is fine. It's got good coverage, but, and again, back to the shade range. Abysmal. So another one I just didn't love is the NYX matte bronzer. I think the formula was good, but it's just this shade for me. But I don't know that I like need the formula so much that I need to hunt down another shade. However, like I said, if you do want more of a sunburn kind of look, I ended up like blending a lot of it away just because I hate the way it looked. So, and then my other least favorite was the shadow palette. Like I said, it's not like awful quality. It just wasn't quite the formula I tend to love when it comes to shimmers. It's fine, I'll keep it for a while, I'll still use it, but it's not like something I would say you need to run out and buy. Another one I liked, but I don't know that it's like revolutionary, is the Hydrating Jelly Primer from the Bare With Me line. I like it and I still want to use it some more to see. I just don't know that it's so hydrating that it makes a huge difference. However, I do think my skin looks nice and smooth. Maybe that is the primer. We'll see. My favorites, however, you already know I love the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum, so I'm not gonna stick on this one for a long time, but I just really like it. It's easy to use for every day. It's got nice coverage and it blends in fast. I really was surprised by how much I liked this. I don't know, I thought it was just like, okay, it's a gloss that kind of has a nice smell, but I still wanted to give it a whirl. Really, I just wanted to smell it. But the actual way this looks on the lips is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. The formula kind of reminds me of the Tower 28 glosses, where they're just so shiny and juicy and like just good. So really a fan of that. I really like the NYX Suede lipstick formula. I like this shade a lot too. I'd be curious to try other shades. I don't know if this is the most flattering color on me. Jury's still out on that. I'd be willing to try other colors though, because I love the formula of this so much and I think the packaging is cute. I really liked this Thick It Stick It brow, and I feel like the color worked well. I'll be curious when I go back and watch this footage, because sometimes when I go back, I'm like, ooh. But as of right now, the way I'm seeing it, I feel like the color worked well, and I really liked the formula and that it kind of does it all. It holds your brows in place and adds some color. You already know I love the NYX Epic Ink Liquid Liner. That still stands. And then last favorite, I know that was a lot, but I enjoyed a lot of these. The NYX Bare With Me Cheek Serum. But like I said, I think put it on last over your highlighter, and the nice thing is you really can't go overboard. And I just feel like it looks really pretty, but this is not gonna be the thing that stays on your face for 15 hours in humidity. It's just not. There are other things, like I really like the mascara. I think I like the foundation, but I just wanna give those more of a try. I didn't feel like they stood out as like revolutionarily amazing. That's not a word. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see more of these full face brand type videos, let me know. I've done one on Charlotte Tilbury I can link below, and I don't know if I've made a playlist of ones I've done or not, but if I have, I will link, because I know I've done a couple other full face of different brands, especially like drugstore brands. So I love you guys. I hope you'll subscribe if you have not yet already subscribed. I do a lot of drugstore dupes videos here on my channel as well, so I can link that playlist if you want to check some more videos out, see what the general vibe is here. But other than that, I'm just now realizing I still have these in my hair. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.